Welcome back. If you've just joined us, you're watching the news at 10 on Channels Television, coming to you live from Lagos. A reminder of our major stories. Court remands former Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Bala Mohammed, in Kuje prison over alleged false declaration of assets. Senate resolves to investigate Bureau of Public Procurement officials over allegations of corrupt enrichment from underhand dealings. Federal Executive Council clears the air over Professor Yemi Oshibajo's status as acting president, describes debates as needless distraction. And US President Donald Trump defends sack of FBI Director James Comey, insists he's done Americans a favor. Now do remember that for more on our top stories and others, please visit our website channelstv.com and youtube.com/channelsweb. You can also watch us on the go on any mobile device. Log on to m.channelstv.com or download the Channels TV app for Android, iOS and Windows devices from their respective stores. Having the Channels TV and Channels 24 app will give you access to news and updates. You also have the Eyewitness feature, so you too can be part of the news. Just install the app, then tap and swipe to reveal the Eyewitness menu and follow the instructions to share those pictures, videos and news of happenings around you. Now we have some of those pictures and let's share them with you, shall we? We can begin with this one from Benin City in the Edo State. That's in Edo State, showing a road which our Eyewitness reporter says is being rehabilitated, and he appreciates the government for this. From School Road in Aba, Abia State comes our next image showing floods which have taken over that road. According to our Eyewitness reporter, this is a nightmare for residents and traders. Our next image is from Ilesha in Osun State, showing people whom our Eyewitness reporter says are students of Osun State College of Education. They're protesting against the industrial action embarked on by the academic staff union of the institution, and they want the crisis resolved. And here's one from Enugu State, showing people whom our Eyewitness reporter calls volunteers of the power project of the federal government, and he wants attention given to those of them from the state and their 5-month allowances paid. Let's end with this one from Asaba, the Delta State capital, showing a piece of land taken over by erosion. Our Eyewitness reporter is calling on the attention of the state government to do something about this. Thanks a lot for all your pictures, and thanks again for being part of the news. Though some success has been recorded in the fight against corruption, the federal government says it's stepping up the campaign. The Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice, Mr. Abubakar Malami, made the comments during a visit by officials of the United Nations Convention Against Corruption.
Government has undertaken preventive measures against corrupt practices and has put a lot of efforts in the recovery of looted, carted and stashed assets both home and abroad. In the fight against corruption, Nigeria has put in place various policies with a view to ensuring sanity in the various sectors. These policies include, among others, National Policy on Justice Sector Reform and National Policy on Bureau of Public Service Reforms.
The wife of the president, Mrs. Aisha Buhari, is giving the 82 freed Chibok girls the assurance of the federal government's commitment to rescuing the rest of the girls in Boko Haram custody. Mrs. Buhari, who was accompanied by the wife of the vice president to the facility of the Department of State Services in Abuja, said the government will take care of the girls until they are reunited with their families.
I think you people are here because of the strong prayers that we have prayed together with your parents. When you were away, I met with your parents severally We shared their sorrows, we cried together, and we prayed together. And as a result of that, I strongly believe that God answered our prayers by getting you people back to our hands safely. And I believe strongly very soon, those that remain in captivity will soon be with us by the grace of God. I would like to use this medium to thank all the agencies that are involved in taking the negotiation and also delivering you people safely into our hands.
Let's cross over to Abuja now. Where is he? That's Ibrahim Adra. Ibrahim.
Hi, Joma. Now, as Nigerian refugees return from neighboring Cameroon, Chad and Niger Republic to the northeast, the United Nations High Commission for Refugees, UNHCR, is advocating adequate provision for their protection. According to the Refugee Agency, he has registered over 200,000 returnees between August 2015 and April 2017, all in need of protection from rape, violence and other abuses.
According to the United Nations, the Boko Haram conflict that engulfed the northeast since 2009 has killed over 20,000 people and displaced several millions, including women and children. But the recent gains made by the military with the liberation of several communities from Boko Haram in the region, the attention is gradually moving from the conflict to resettlement.
Good morning, everyone.
This conference in Abuja is at the instance of the United Nations Agency for Refugees. The objective is to train government officials on the protection needs of internally displaced persons and refugees who are returning from neighboring countries.
UNHCR has registered a total of 262,809 refugees who have returned to Nigeria. Today's workshop seeks to address ways in which we can deliver, build effective response, and analyze strategies.
Some government officials from the region speak on the challenges that returnees are facing in some of the liberated communities, as well as government efforts to protect them.
Mafa local government have gone back, Dukwa, Gamborungala, and many more have gone back because the government, federal government and the state government have been able to provide security for them.
In the Madagal local government area that I was talking about, which is bordering the Sambisa forest, or bordering Borno State, let's say, and maybe Gombe local government as well, parts of it is bordering Borno State. There may be fears of people going too far away from the villages to their farms, but even that is being addressed as we speak.
There are over 200,000 refugee returnees, and according to the United Nations Agency for Refugees, a higher percentage of this group are women and children who could be victims of rape and other forms of abuses if not protected by the government.
The Minister of Information and Culture, Lai Mohammed, has described the debate over the status of the Vice President, Yemi Osinbajo, in the absence of President Muhammadu Buhari as a needless distraction. Mr. Mohammed made the comments while addressing journalists at the end of the meeting of the Federal Executive Council at the Presidential Villa, Abuja. Meanwhile, the Council has approved the establishment of the Nigerian Office for Trade Negotiations, which will help in the implementation of the Economic Recovery and Growth Plan as it involves engagement with other countries. Our correspondent, Maokwe Ogu, reports.
The entrance of the acting president at about 10:05 a.m. marks the beginning of the Federal Executive Council meeting, the first after President Muhammadu Buhari transmitted a letter that generated some controversy on the floor of the National Assembly. It's the first item journalists want to address immediately after briefing by a team of ministers who address a news conference.
I think it's a needless controversy and just a distraction. The operative sentence is in compliance with Section 1451. Any other words used is not relevant.
During the conference, the Minister of Trade and Investment tells journalists about the establishment of the Nigerian Office for Trade Negotiations.
The Cabinet decided that it's wise to establish a coordinating central office for trade negotiations, the Nigerian Office for Trade Negotiations, which will be headed by a chief trade negotiator of ambassador rank that will then work with both the economic management team and the cabinet. Some of the objectives of that office will be to help us to coordinate the various trade discussions and negotiations that we hold, and to achieve coherence in our policies so that our policies will put our trade together.
His counterpart in the Ministry of Health gives reasons why a new yellow card with security features is in the offing.
One of the challenges we had in the past with the current yellow card is that it could be issued by anybody, and those who did not even receive the vaccination could also, in fact, get a card signed for them. With this new card, you cannot fake the yellow card. Using a card reader, we can also document your vaccination status. So we'll know whether, in fact, you've been genuinely vaccinated or not.
For the Ministry of Transport, work to begin negotiations with General Electric to conclude concessions on the narrow gauge system were approved, alongside a supervisory consultant for the Lagos-Ibadan Railway, who will do the same job when work begins on the Kano-Kaduna Railway. Maokpe Ogun, Channels Television News.
Many thanks, Maokpe. Women in Nigeria have been challenged to focus on maintaining high moral standards, which is key in moving the nation forward. This formed the center of discussion at the Handmaidens 2017 Women in Leadership Series held in Lagos today, where the convener, Pastor Siju Iliyomade, encouraged women to remain honorable. Now, the keynote speaker, the vice chairman of Channels Media Group, Mrs. Shola Momo, said women are created to provide solutions to problems and should stand up to that responsibility.
Women from all walks of life are here bright and early, gaily dressed and ready to listen, learn and network. The Handmaidens Women in Leadership Series kicks off with a short prayer as the church and faith in God forms the background for the event.
Pray that the Lord will be magnified in your life because He will delight in your prosperity.
Convener of the event, Pastor Siju Iliyomade, asked women to be real with God as they maintain a strong value system.
It is us who can keep the value system. Nigeria is where it is today, not because we're a poor nation. No, we are not poor, but we lack honor. The women at this meeting today will go away loving and respecting one another, mentoring one another.
Keynote speaker is the vice chairman, Channels Media Group, Mrs. Shola Momo, who speaks to women about their role in problem solving, drawing inspiration from the book of Genesis.
I want us to recall the story of creation in Genesis chapters 1 and 2. God knew Adam would fall, and that was why in his sovereignty, he made the woman, because he would later need her cooperation with his grace to bring about mercy, which now prevails over judgment. The woman was made to solve a problem. She was predestined as a solution giver.
Challenges are a part of life, and when confronted with them, here are some suggestions on what to do.
Identify, recognize the problems or the issues. Invest in self-education, self-improvement. Join networks, like-minded groups who are very good at what you do or what you want. Always go for the right diagnosis when you are confronted with a challenge or a problem. And that can only lead you to the right treatment.
A panel discussion answers pertinent questions that affect the lives of women at work and at home.
When you're prepared, you're able to seize opportunities. Opportunity comes to the prepared.
So I would say prayer, humility, articulation, and do not be wise in your own estimation. So if there's still more for you to do in your particular career, wait on the Lord and He'll still lead you there.
At the end of the day, women have been challenged to be purpose-driven, goal-getters, and solutions to problems, because that is what the nation needs at a time like this. Victoria Idowu, reporting for Channels Television News.
And when the news at 10 returns, global ratings firm Fitch says Nigerian banks' impressive performance in 2016 may be difficult to repeat. It's on Business News. Do join us again.